Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Very Reasonable Pilots podcast. I'm your host, Charles Lund, and with me, as always, is my co-host, editor, producer, co-pilot, and gunner, Jacob Cloth. How are you doing today, Jacob?
I am content, Charlie.
Contento. Yeah.
How are you doing?
Sounds good. I'm doing all right. I forgot that I had to pitch.
Oh.
Like you messaged me and was like, and were like, you want to record it this time? And I was like, yeah, that sounds great. And I just kind of forgot about it. Like, I put it to the back of my mind and was doing other stuff. And then yesterday, I remembered that I...
You remembered, or I told you that I had to change the time?
A little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. I remembered that I have to pitch, that It was my turn to pitch. So, while rewatching The Lighthouse...
Oh, jeez, this is going to be a weird pitch.
I watched two movies. I watched VHS 94, which is a horror movie anthology. It's the fourth movie in the VHS franchise, and it was pretty good. I give it a 7 out of 10.
Oh, that's
nice.
A high rating.
Yeah, I mean, I give The Lighthouse like a 9 out of 10. That's a really good movie. But VHS 94, thumbs up for me. I enjoyed it. But I came up with two pitches. So I'm going to give you a 2-word summary or 2-word, thing about the pitches, and then you're going to pick, okay?
Oh, I feel so much pressure.
Mad Scientist or Arctic Adventure?
Arctic Adventure.
Okay, Arctic Adventure it is. Alright, a crew of explorers set off for a rumored city with advanced technology and the key to eternal life that is supposedly hidden in the far reaches of the Arctic.
Arctic on Earth?
Yeah.
What's the year, if you could tell me? Like, the future?
I can't, because that would be a spoiler.
Oh, okay. Okay. Gotcha.
But it's not, they don't have modern technology. It's all 1800s style technology, right?
They said they have future technology, these people.
They don't. No, there's advanced technology at the city that is
supposedly I see.
Gotcha.
Hidden
away in the Arctic, like Atlantis,
it's like
but
Atlantis,
it's in the Arctic.
Yeah. Okay.
So, it's a crew of people. They're on a ship. It's like, you know how Frankenstein starts? All those guys in the Arctic Circle on a boat?
Mm-hmm.
Like that. They're all, it's all wooden. They don't have, like, modern technology. They got lamp oil, like whale oil and shit like that, And we've got this colorful cast of characters. So our captain of the ship and of the leader of the expedition is Mick Sliffer. He is
what a name.
Yeah. We can change some names if we want. He is excitable and, very interested and curious about this journey. He's willing to take risks, risk his own life and the lives of his crew for the pursuit of knowledge and to get there.
Oh, he's not a hero.
No, he's greedy. Like he likes gold, but he's got a good soul. He likes gold and he's got a heart of silver.
Okay.
He's not a bad guy. He's just a greedy guy. And then our second main character, Dr. Nigel Mistook, is he's a doctor. He's the medic of the crew. He's been hired by the company. He's not really all that interested in finding this, El Dorado, lost city, whatever. He thinks it's all a bunch of hooey, but he wants the money. Maybe he's got a doctor, he's got a daughter or something that he's got to take care of, but he is also a gambling addict. He's heavily in debt, and so he's taking the most high-paying, most dangerous, contracts from the company, which is never named, it's just the company, to, pay back his debts and make sure his daughter isn't killed by loan sharks or whatever. Next, we have a researcher. Now, this is Suzanne Mitchell. She knows something is there. Like, she is so fully confident that there is some sort of mystical, not magical, but like city in the Arctic somewhere that she knows it's there. And she's willing to sacrifice other people to get there.
Wow, you got a lot of selfish people on this journey.
Yeah. Well, it's, the olden days, sort of. And she's pointed. She knows what she wants. She's in pursuit of knowledge, right? She doesn't really care about the gold that's supposedly in the city, or eternal life, or whatever else. She wants to know. Then we have our engineer. He's our, he fixes things. He makes sure everything works properly. That's Michael Ramirez. He's meek and slow on the uptake. He's not the brightest bulb in the basket, but he's nice. He's curious about the world and about like investigating, things. So if he sees like a fire off in the distance, he'll be like, "What's that?" Whatever. And he's hopelessly in love with our demolitions expert, Lucy McDowell. She is a genius chemist. She's gruff, mean, and loyal to her captain, who saved her life in a previous, journey that they had. And our last character, I know this is a lot.
Yeah, I've already forgotten everyone.
That's fine. Our last character is Axe Willix.
Axe Willix.
Yeah. He's a local, so there's like a little town that's on the edge of the Arctic Circle. Right?
Oh, so he's like a guide or something.
He's the hunter / guide.
I see.
For the crew, and he knows more than he's letting on. He's got a little pet wolf.
Oh, is it like a dire wolf? Is it a big wolf or is it little?
It's just a regular. It's just wolves are pretty big as they are, so I think it's just a regular wolf.
Okay.
Right. And he's quiet, but he's got a little bit of kindness behind his eyes, right?
Oh.
So, our first episode, season 1, I should say, and I have this as being a 10-episode series, although I only have a few episode descriptions ready.
Okay.
Because they're traveling across the Arctic, they could encounter all sorts of crazy things. Mm-hmm. But the first episode, they're on the ship. The crew is our cast of characters are introducing each other. We show that there's some history between some of them. Some of them are just brand new to the journey, and they're like, we are going to, what's her name? Susan. Susan will be like poring over her notes and her like research, trying to help determine like exactly where it is on a map and stuff like that. But again, this is the Arctic Circle, so it's not very well mapped at all, especially in the time period that this is set.
Yeah.
So, first episode ends. Maybe there's been something happening on the ship, like a gambling thing. We could see the doctor. He's like lost all of his like. He got paid in advance, like a portion in advance, and he's lost all of it already because he's a terrible poker player.
But he's addicted to the game. Yeah.
Yeah. So they arrive at this town that's at the edge of the Arctic Circle. You can name it. What should the name be?
Waverly.
Okay, Waverly. They land at Waverly. They, bunk down in the inn, and they're like, "All right, everybody, the captain's like, get ready, crew, team. This is going to be the last time you're sleeping in a bed for quite a while.
Oh.
So enjoy it, because they're going to be traveling."
What do they travel via? Like, what do they use?
I would think dog sleds.
Okay.
But also because they're traveling like thousands of miles, they're also walking. Like also some of the time they're walking
out in the cold, just like with big coats on.
Yeah, and they're just to give the dogs a break, and maybe later in the season they have to eat the dogs to survive because they've lost one of the sleds fell into an ice lake, and there's no way of getting the supplies that were on it.
Yeah.
Whatever. But yeah, they're traveling via dog sled, and they go to sleep. Everybody tucks in, and maybe we see a little bit of mystery, a little bit of stuff. Maybe somebody's watching them while they're sleeping.
You could have some weird
notes.
Camera angles that seem to suggest it, like up on a hill, the camera's set in a way and it's like moving around. You got some shuffling around the camera. You could do
maybe
that
somebody steals Susan's map that she's been working on.
It disappears. Maybe she blames people around the camp, like, where'd it go? Did you take my map? Where's my map?
And so
she's probably more
second
angry
episode
about
starts.
how I phrased it in such a monotone way.
Give me my map. Where's my map at?
Is she Italian?
Where is my map?
My map, eh?
My map. I am not contento. I am not felice. Those aren't the words. I feel like they were pretty close. Second episode starts, you know, they all wake up. They're, get ready. They're full of hope. They've got all their supplies and everything. And their first, you know, major hurdle is they have to pass over a mountain range. And then after there's a mountain range, there's just this huge plain. It's like this giant bowl.
So there's snowy mountains in your version of the Arctic? Or is this like, they're not in the Arctic yet, they're still...
I mean, they're in the Arctic Circle, but you know, there's stuff, there's glaciers, there's mountains.
I see.
This isn't exactly the Arctic that we have, right? So they're, you know, going over the mountains. Maybe they have a few, like, Sherpa guys helping them out, you know?
Some friends of the last guy, whose name Axel.
Yeah, Axe.
He's got some buds, you know, hanging out.
He's got some friends, or just people he's hired to be like, hey, I need help with this. Yeah. You guys know how to, you know the way. You're coming with us.
They're fellow guide colleagues or something.
You know, we see that. We, you know, get people, they're climbing up these mountains, going over these glaciers. Maybe one of the characters, I think probably, I'm trying to think, like, we come upon, like, the dead bodies of some previous explorers who have, you know, come this way. And maybe it's, you know, Dr. Nigel Mistook is, you know, seeing them and being like, these men don't seem to have died from the cold, you know? Like, oh, huh. The manner in which these men died is not, like, how Axe is explaining it. Maybe Axe is like, oh yeah, they froze to death or an avalanche or something.
Yeah.
And he's like, these men were strangled or whatever. But he keeps that to himself because he you know, he doesn't want to make any accusations. And some of the men, some of the Sherpas, maybe some of the crew, they, like, you know, fall down the side of the mountain, trigger an avalanche. We can have a very exciting scene as all of our main characters are, like, on the dog sleds. The dogs aren't running because they're going too fast, and they're all riding down a hill, getting away from the avalanche, and they all, like, you know, skirt into, like, a cave or an underpass, and they're able to escape the snow and not die, at least most of them, you know? Oh. And they're like, man, that was close.
Yeah. Do they get snowed into the tunnel, or is there a way out?
I think that there's a way out. They're able to escape the snow without, like, being trapped.
Okay.
And they you know, keep moving. They get away from the brand new snow and they make camp. And our engineer, Michael Ramirez, again, he's meek. He's a little slow on the uptake. He's very anxious now. Like, he's super nervous because he just nearly died, and this was, like, a near-death experience for him that he's never had before. And he's like,
a little shaky.
He's a little shaky up, you know, and he hears something in the wilderness, you know, like a howl, but it doesn't sound like a wolf's howl or something like that. It sounds almost human, but not quite like that, you know, almost human, but not quite. And everyone's just like, don't worry about it. It's your brain playing tricks on you.
Yeah.
You know, maybe Axe is more insistent that it was nothing, or maybe it was a moose. We have mooses here, whatever, you know? So we have some more Arctic adventures. I want to pick your brain. I want to know what sort of Arctic adventures they can come upon. Right?
That's a good point.
Because
there could be some like, you know, crazy civilizations out in the Arctic wastes that you could run into, like a snow village of people that, like, haven't been in contact with greater civilization in a long time, and they've become like
maybe they're all, like, completely white, you know?
Oh,
like they're not just
years
white
of
people
evolving, so they're like snow people.
Yeah, and maybe X has, like, his people who are, you know, from greater society, and they've just come to Waverly, or they've built Waverly. Yeah. Has a rough, you know, trade treaty with them. You know, they'll provide pelts and Waverly will provide lamp oil, and something sets them off, and they like have to escape from these tribals.
Yeah, and they're like, they've got, you know, they don't have like sophisticated weaponry. They just got like spears and stuff, but they're all like, they're not superhuman. Maybe they're a little bit enhanced in the way that they can do certain things. Like maybe they move faster because they're used to years on the ice or something. You know what I mean? And maybe like they're used to that terrain and they understand it. So they have an advantage.
And like our guys can't. They shouldn't use guns because loud noises notoriously set off more avalanches. You know?
That could be a cool thing though. Like they could be trapped in a little like cavern with people on either side, like these snow people. And one of the characters, who do you think's smart enough to do this? Like fires their gun up and scares.
I think Lucy, the demolitions expert.
So Lucy
would be smart enough.
Like pulls out a gun and everyone's like, "No, Lucy, no!" And she shoots, and that's when the avalanche starts and all the snow people clear out. And she's like, "Fucking run!"
Yeah, that'd be good. And they're like sprinting. They're trying. There's a cave that they can see. And they're like trying to get to it. Maybe somebody gets swiped away.
Yeah.
More crew members, and I'm assuming we would like characterize these crew members at least a little bit. The background
characters that die all the time.
Yeah, because I don't want all of. I think at least one of the main guys should die on the journey. Probably Michael, the engineer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, he's a little baby boy. He's just a little boy, and he's hopelessly in love with Lucy McDowell, demolitions expert, chemist. Genius.
So I remember Lucy and Axe and the Doctor, but I forgot the other characters. Could you run through them real quick?
I mean, there's the captain, Mick. There's the researcher, Susan.
Okay.
There's the two other ones, right? Mick is.
No, I remember that. I just want to get it out there because you were saying that the captain and Susan both really focused on getting the information. And they don't really care about other people's lives. And you could make that very clear throughout the, like these journeys that they don't really care about the others. They care about getting themselves out. So maybe there's a moment when they're running away from the snow people that they escape down like a, you know, like Mick escapes down some sort of cavern and shoots like the door closed or something, you know, shoots like big ice block and it falls down. Like showing that he doesn't really care about everyone else.
He cares about himself, and I think he should have a little bit of care for Lucy.
Okay, so maybe he gets her out or something, but no one else.
Yeah, but I think throughout the show, Lucy's arc should be like, I can't just keep defending this guy. He's obviously a piece of shit, even if he saved my life once before, and I'm loyal to him. But no, he's not good. He's bad, even.
So where's the show going?
So, after, you know, all these sorts of Arctic adventures, they meet the snow people. Maybe there's, like, huge, giant, like, snow beasts that they've never heard of or never seen before. We get there, we get to the mysterious city, and everyone except for Susan and Axe are absolutely astonished that it's actually there. They're like, what the? This is crazy. And we see, you know, these... It's not like a huge city. It looks more like a military base, almost. Okay. Like a modern-day military base. But it's, you know, this is set in olden times, almost. So, you know, there's all these kind of big structures that are, like, blocky. There's not a lot of, like, cool architecture. But everyone's just kind of, like, amazed. And there's this long dead, you know, language that none of them can speak. And none of them, like, know. Susan's the only one, and she's, like, got bits and pieces, but not much.
Yeah. And
as we're, you know, they explore, they find things, maybe they see some of the, you know, some of the beasts that we've encountered throughout the series. We see them, like, in tubes, in test tubes and stuff.
Okay.
That are in there, in the military base. Maybe we see a snow person, or like a long dead ancestor of the snow people.
Yeah.
In the tubes, and we slowly reveal that this hidden city is actually a U.S. Army military base, and the hidden secret language that they can't understand is English. So throughout the entire series, we're portraying this as it's like a fantasy steampunk 1800 show. In actuality, it's a post-apocalypse. The world has been destroyed, and this mysterious city is actually a military base that was specializing in genetic modification. So that's why there are all these weird monsters around. It's because hundreds of years ago, the army guys were doing it, right? And they find it and they realize what's going on, and Axe pulls a gun on them because he's like, this is something that my town knows about, Waverly knows about, or at least maybe Axe and a few other people know about, and their job is to this is what destroyed the world the last time. Yeah. We can't let this get out. And Susan, maybe Susan is somewhere else when Axe pulls the gun on everybody, and she wouldn't it be great if Susan ran up behind Axe and hit him in the head with an axe and chopped his head in
You want Axe
half?
to be killed by an axe?
Yeah.
I don't know if Susan's... is Susan capable of that as a person? Is she crazy enough to do that, or do you need the captain to do it? Because he seems crazy enough to do it.
Yeah, but I think Susan throughout the series is becoming more and more crazy.
Okay.
As she becomes more obsessed with this hidden city and the knowledge.
Okay.
And then the consensus of the people who are there is what are we gonna do with this? We can't bring this back. It is what ended the world last time. Axe had a point before you axed him, Susan. And Susan's like, no, I won't let this knowledge be lost to humanity again. And she, I don't know,
threatens them.
Flips a switch.
Yeah, and then
something leaves them to die.
All of them, even Captain Mick?
Yeah, because I think Mick is more in it for the money.
I see.
And she's more in it for the knowledge,
okay.
right? So maybe Mick betrays them to go with Susan. And, they're escaping. But, Mick is, filling up a bag with gold. Susan is, going through all the books and the computers and all this shit,
yeah.
right? And they're, our crew, our main characters now, which will be Dr. Nigel and Lucy, the only two left.
Yeah,
Michael, maybe.
R.I.P. Michael
Depends.
Yeah,
R.I.P.
Don't know how he died, but maybe he did.
He got ate by a snake.
And maybe you could have a scene. This could be the scene that shows that Susan is evil. She could have saved Michael if she tried in this situation, maybe.
Yeah.
And they're in a cave somewhere, and there's a giant ice worm, and she could save him, but she decides not to because she wants to save her notes instead that are there.
Yeah, and maybe she's got a little bit of she's a little, but then she decides for the notes, and that's when you really see her character change.
Yeah.
But yeah, Lucy and Dr. Nigel, they're escaping. They're doing this thing that maybe they found some jet skis.
Okay,
right?
in the Arctic?
Yeah, in the military base.
How are they gonna ride them?
They fucking gung 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 gung. They're like, I don't know. Well, let me try this, and they pull the thing and they just start going.
Okay.
It'd be fun. We could do something like that, or maybe they find some. Maybe one of the dog sleds is still around and they're escaping. And as they're escaping, whatever Susan hit has caused this sort of chain reaction of ice all around the base cracking, and maybe definitely we'll show that in the earlier in the series that the ice that they're on is not stable at all.
Okay, yeah.
And so as they're escaping, Mick and Susan are still in the military base thinking everything's fine. Then it starts earthquake and cracking. Everything's, and the city collapses down into the military base collapses down
into the water,
into the ice, into the icy depths below. And we're left thinking, was it worth it? No, he wasn't. Everyone died. But, yeah.
So not even... So everyone dies, not even to...
No, Lucy and Dr. Nigel make it back to the town. And they are like, did you find it? And they just look at each other and they're like, no.
There's nothing
We
there.
didn't. There's nothing there. Yep. And that's the end. And what do you think should play? What song? Because I don't know why we always pick the songs. Always pick some songs.
Mr. Blue Sky.
No, but that's not ice related.
It should be an Ice Cube song.
Baby, it's cold outside. No, it should be an Ice Cube song. That'd be funny. Ice, Ice Baby.
No.
Ice, Ice Baby. Dun 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 dun. Oh, we're gonna get copyright struck.
It should be some like sad song, and then the credit should be like. I mean, the song should definitely be sad. It should be like the credit should be views of like structures and like the pods with like the creatures in them falling down into the depths of the sea. So like this nice watery camera shot.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like if the opening of Skyfall when you see James Bond floating down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You could play Skyfall.
That would be good.
By Adele.
Maybe we have Mick. He's still alive. He's drowning, and he's his like clothes are all lined with gold now. Like he filled up his coat with gold, and he is pulled down to the watery depths below because he's got gold on him. Or maybe not. Dun dun dun. You know, whatever. We could leave it open for a sequel series.
Yeah. Where they go to Atlantis.
That would be pretty good.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, that's my show. I don't really have a name for it yet.
Come on. It could be
Arctic Adventure.
What's the name of the city? What do they call it? Arcropolis.
Yeah, Arcropolis.
There we go. That's the name of the show, Arcropolis.
All right.
Because that's the Arctic Atlantis, Arcropolis.
Yeah. And the Necropolis, which is the city of the dead.
Yeah, so it works all out. Except, Opolis doesn't come from the same... I mean, they both those roots come from the same thing, but they don't connect.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, we could... I thought you were saying, like, an Arctic necropolis.
No, I was thinking
but you were actually
Metropolis.
saying Metropolis, but... Yeah, I dig
Arcropolis.
it. Arcropolis. Yeah, that's my show.
Arcropolis.
That's my show idea.
What a name. Great name. Whoever came up with that's a genius.
They should be
Gives
getting
me
$1
a
million.
great thumbnail with like water maybe or ice and like a city.
A polar bear.
A big old polar bear with a Coca-Cola because all polar bears
Yum,
drink
yum.
Coca-Cola.
They do.
That's what childhood TV taught me.
All right. Well, thank you all for listening to the Very Reasonable Pilots podcast. I've been your host, Charles Long, and with me, as always, has been my co-host, editor, producer, co-pilot, and gunner, Jacob Gloth. If you like what you heard here, and you want to hear more,
Or would you?
I don't know, but if you do, follow us on Instagram. We don't have an Instagram. Follow us on YouTube. Follow us on
You subscribe
whatever.
on YouTube, you don't follow.
Give us a like. Give us a follow. Give us a subscribe. Support our Patreon.
We don't have a Patreon. You don't actually have to contribute any money to this.
You don't even have to contribute anything. Just give us a like or a dislike. Either or. We'll take it.
Just don't do anything.
Or just erase this podcast from your brain.
Mm-hmm.
Play it again. Give us 1,000 views.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you all for listening. Bye-bye.